Welcome back to the channel Gadgets for Gentlemen. In this video I'm going to unbox the MacBook Air M1 that I purchased to replace my MacBook Pro. This is the 2014 model, I believe. This is the 15-inch. It's very much a beautiful MacBook, fully spec'd when I bought it. And here in the back we have the iMac late 2013, also fully spec'd. On a Satechi beautiful dock. I decided to replace my Apple inventory, the MacBook, the iMac, and also I'm looking into upgrading my iPhone. So here we have my workhorse MacBook Pro that I really love, and I did a lot of research. I wanted to get something a little bit thinner and more lightweight, more portable to bring with me on my way, on my holidays, when visiting friends, for example. I want to be able to work. I also have the iPad mini that is a wonderful device to bring with me on my holidays, but I can't use it pretty much for video editing. So I decided to get myself a new MacBook Air that I wanted to get for as little as I could. And with these specs that I saw in the base model MacBook Air, I think it has everything I need with the M1 chip. I don't think the M2 chip is that significantly better for that to justify that price jump between the M1 and the M2 MacBook Air. Because now you can get the MacBook Air for very nice deals, especially in the USA. Here in Europe, the MacBook Air M1 is still a bit pricey, but compared to the M2, I think the M1 in my case makes more sense. So what I'm dealing with is the M2 Mac Mini that I will use primarily for video editing. I edit in 1080, I don't go for 4K. And then I want to have a MacBook on the go to edit as well. So I think the M1 for me is sufficient. I don't think I need the M2. And for me, the price difference was about 300 euros, which for me did not justify that price difference. So for me, it's all about having the best performance per euro, which means in my case, I think the M1 is the best purchased in my scenario, in my situation, where I don't need to have all that horsepower because I have the Mac Mini M2 in my home setup. And on the go, I think to have an M1 chip editing some 1080 videos, I think is enough for me. So let's get the new MacBook Air right here. So the purpose of this video is just to show you the MacBook Air M1, what's in the box, and also to share with you my rationale why I decided to get the M1 and not the M2, which basically is the fact that the M1 is a beautiful device. It can be found now for very great deals, and for me that price increasement to the M2, which equals about 300 euros more in price, those improvements are wonderful, but I think for me the M1 is enough, and those improvements are pretty nice, but I don't think in my personal situation they justify that 300 euro extra costs. Those 300 euros extra costs, I rather invest in getting a new iPhone Pro, because I think that money spent on an iPhone Pro is a better investment in terms of long term. So enough of talking, let's have a look at the box. This is the MacBook Air. I bought it here in the Netherlands with a Dutch retailer. So this is the base model, which has a 8 gig RAM memory, SSD 256 gigabytes, 13-inch M1 chip, and it has a USB-C adapter. So I think the M2 is a little bit larger in terms of the inches. I think 13.6, so smaller bezels. So if you want a slightly bigger screen, then the M2 might be better. I also heard that the SSD in this M1 MacBook is faster than the new SSD in the M2, which is, I also heard that the charger for the M2 is slightly different than the charger for this M1, but I heard that the M2 chip is more efficient. It is more powerful, but it also using less of your battery. So there we have it. It's always a pleasure to unbox Apple products because it's just so nice. I think here we can already see a bit of the device. So we only have 2 ports on this side. Now let's get started. So there we have it. Oh, I forgot to mention, I went for silver. I also kind of like the space gray, but I thought the silver was the best looking. And then again, I have all my devices, the iMac, the MacBook Pro, as well as the Mac Mini in silver. So I really like this particular color. I don't really like the new colors of the M2, the Midnight. I saw some other colors. I prefer this very old school silver. So there we have the MacBook in the foil. Let me put it to the side just for now. And let's have a closer look at the package here. So this is about the MacBook Air. It has Thunderbolt ports, USB 4, which you can use to charge your MacBook, but also to connect it to an external display. And on the other side of the device, we have a headphone port, which I really love for your headphones. There's HD camera. With the M2, the camera quality is improved. I think here we're dealing with a 720p. With the M2, I think it's a 1080p. So if you want the better camera, go for the M2. But for me, I think this is sufficient for me. Force touch trackpad. Ah, it has Touch ID. That is really very nice. Okay, so that's some paperwork. Then of course the famous stickers in silver, very nice. And I really wonder what you do with those stickers. I never use them. I just keep them in the package. So that's the paperwork. Then here we have the charger. And here it reads USB-C power adapter 30 watts. So this is the European way of charging. And then here we have the USB-C, and here we must have the USB-C cable. Ooh, and we have quite some length, which I love. I'm guessing this is about 2 meters in length. And here we can see that USB-C, so that should go into this part, and then this part should go to the MacBook. So that's a very neat box. I always make sure to keep the boxes in case of some issues with warranty or selling the device. So let me put it right back in the box. There we have it. And here we have the MacBook. Now this looks very nice. Unlike the Apple logo on my MacBook Pro, this one does not have a light. So my MacBook on the Pro, it has a light when you're using it. This is just a reflective sticker, I guess. And here we have the headphone jack. As you can see, the laptop has a bit of a like a V shape. You can see here it's quite, well, it is thin, but this is the thicker part. And here it slopes down. And here it becomes very, very thin. And as you can see, there is some rubber surfaces on the corners, and it's just very thin. So this is the bottom part, this is the top part, and I can already notice this doesn't weigh a whole lot. Here we have the 2 Thunderbolt ports. One of these you can use for the charger, and here we have the USB-C cable. With the MacBook M2, we have a different kind of charger. We have a sort of MagSafe, I believe, which is magnetic. This is just the USB-C, and that is how it works. That's great. If you're charging the device with the adapter, you only have one more port available, one more Thunderbolt for example, your external SSD or your external monitor. So keep that in mind. I see a lot of people there using external hubs or docks for extra ports. So that is the USB-C. I really like the color. As you can see, it does attract some of your fingerprints. And here we go. Wow. We even have some paper right here. And as you can see, you can easily get some grease in there from your fingers. We have the trackpad. On this part we have some speakers. Also on this part, I think with the M2 there's speakers right here. So that's a bit different. This must be the Touch ID. I think it looks very crisp. It looks very nice. Nice keyboard. What I notice here, if we have a closer look, I don't think the bezels are that thick. So again, this shape of this MacBook, it's not new. This is an older design, but I don't think it's outdated. I think it's still very, very pretty. So there we have the FaceTime camera. I'm very curious to check it out. So in this last shot, what I want to do is show you the differences in terms of the size between the MacBook Air M1, the MacBook Pro 15-inch. I already plugged in the USB-C cable because I'm going to fully charge this device and just let it rest for a bit before I do the whole setup. So I plan on selling this device when I emptied all the videos and all the materials in it. What I really love about the MacBook Pro is the ports. So we have the port for your camera card. We have HDMI, USB 3, I think. Then we have here more ports. We have the charger, which is the MagSafe headphone USB. I think that is also the Thunderbolt. Just a great device. When I hold it, I can feel such a difference in terms of the weight. Also the build quality. I guess the MacBook Pro is a bit more durable. This is a bit thinner. And here we have it side by side. You can see my left hand, I'm already trembling. With the right, it doesn't weigh much. Now in terms of screen real estate, let's have a closer look. Let's open it up. So here we have the screen on the MacBook Pro 15-inch. Let me open it up some more. Here we have it. We have a great touchpad. We have big speakers, like it's much broader than the M1, as you can see on both sides. Just a great keyboard and a huge screen. Now let's compare it to the M1 that we have here on the right. Let's open it up. Yeah, there we go. As you can see, in terms of bezels, the M1 looks a bit thinner. Then with these speakers, they are much more narrow. Keyboard, I don't know, it looks a little bit smaller. Trackpad looks similar. And the as you can see, in terms of screen real estate, it's much smaller, but I look forward to working with it. And in terms of weight to carry these devices, I'm preferring the M1 here on the right because it's so lightweight, and also in your backpack or suitcase it will not take a lot of space. So that is a quick unboxing of the MacBook Air M1 and the reason of getting this one. One more thing that I wanted to show you, I mentioned when you're working with the MacBook Pro, when you enable it, the Apple logo just shows. As you can see, that is just really nice. Here you can see it lights up, and when you close it, it dims. Again, one more time, let me try to demonstrate. So now it's dimmed. Have a look at the logo. When I open it, there we go. It starts to give light. Now when I close it, it will dim, as you can see here. I think a nice little feature. I think it's quite pointless, but it's just nice. We don't have it with the M1. This is just, you know, like reflective. It doesn't light up. So that's just one small difference. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna charge the M1, and then I'm gonna play around with it. And then what I plan to do is sell the MacBook Pro, get rid of all my files, and start playing with the M1. Same applies to the iMac that I also plan on selling, and then working with the Mac Mini M2 in combination with the MacBook Air M1. And finally, I'm trying to sell the iPhone 13 mini that I'm recording with right now and upgrade to the iPhone 14 Pro. So here we have the MacBook M1, which I think is a great value for money if you don't need the M2 chip. If you need the M2 chip, get the M2, and you have the benefit of a slightly better battery, you have a better camera, you have more ports, all in all, maybe better speakers. The M2 is of course the better of the two, but if you just want a lot of performance for a low price point, I think you can't go wrong with the M1. So thanks again for watching. I hope you find this video useful. If you did, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment to this video, and see you soon.